Hey there, you're tuned into the False Graves podcast. I'm your host, AK Baby Dude, the Lightbringer.
And the Furman.
So, starting out, I want to say thank you, Young Scrolls, for the beautiful tunes.
Ear candy right there.
It's not every day a tonal architect comes along and makes masterpieces like Young Scrolls.
Just the Roman Empire right there.
So, I'll go ahead and let the people at home know to get started. It's been quite an eventful weekend for myself. I'm a little bit on the tired side.
Really now?
Yeah, and you might go, really? A light bringer on the tired side? Is that possible?
A light burning out?
The light never burns out. It always rejuvenates.
Might smolder a bit, but never falters.
Never falters.
Never falters.
But yeah, so this weekend I found myself and my girlfriend, we ended up in an emergency situation. And she actually had to have a surprise emergency surgery. It went from just being like a normal day, what was it, Labor weekend? Memorial weekend?
Labor.
And we were just chilling, and next thing you know, she started having these pains, and that quickly transpired into us going to the ER. And basically, yeah, if we didn't make it to the ER over the weekend, it could have been a life or death situation.
Well, it's a good thing you knew where the hospital was.
Yeah. That's that intuition.
Nah, the old steel noodle.
I don't need a map. But yeah, driving up there, believe it or not, I made every single light. I didn't miss a single one. And my average speed was about 100 miles an hour. So take that, ambulance drivers.
Well, I'm just saying, it's a good thing you didn't put her in an ambulance because those things run on unicorn blood.
Yeah. But we do have plenty of that in supply, so I could have offered some.
I mean, you could have, but they still would have charged you a left nut on that one.
One of the things I noticed today, I gripe about a lot. When I was a kid, ambulance drivers drove fast.
Super.
Like when you're a kid and you see that ambulance go by, they are zooming. You look at an ambulance today and they're like, do we care if they live or die? Do we care that the person's having a medical emergency?
They'll be fine.
They drive 5 miles over the speed limit.
Well, it's the ice cream truck equivalent of a hospital.
You're on the highway going 75 after the ambulance passed you, and you notice you're gaining ground.
You actually see the grandma across through the window just passing.
You're like, do you care about this person or not? What's the issue here? It's an open highway, no traffic, and you're going 72 miles an hour.
Well, we don't want to put too much stress on the engine because then we could break down.
Maybe it's an emergency. Maybe it's just people who drive ambulances taking advantage of their vehicle. They're just I'm going to turn the lights on and just cruise this bitch.
Oh, man. Could you imagine they stop for a Slim Jim on the way to bring you to the hospital?
Yeah. But yeah, so we got to the ER. Right away, she had to be put on a stretcher and wheeled back to the emergency room. And I'm obviously in shock because I don't know what's about to happen. We don't know what's going on. So I'm very nervous, for that brief time. And then somebody come out and let me know that she's back, conscious, and I can go back and see her. And, what proceeded was a couple hours of them trying to figure out what was going on and what the problem was. And it was a very nerve-wracking time, to say the least.
Man, I can't blame you. I mean, when they don't know.
Yeah. It's all, up in the air. So nothing to do but hope and pray. But eventually they did figure it out, and surgery was, going to have to take place. And the thing probably that stood the most out to me was the sheer amount of paperwork involved in a crisis situation. Like, it's a life and death situation, and a stack of forms are presented, and not just, to me or to the family, but to my girlfriend, the literal patient in the crisis situation.
Just fill out this book before we can even think about cutting you. Like,
it's like, sign here. Oh, we've got some more forms coming, shortly. We're going to have you take a look at.
And actually, you have to fill those out in green crayon, not black pen. Like, we're going to bring you the green crayon, but we had to send somebody to Dollar General.
And even though I've just had you sign all of these forms and went over them with you, well, I've got someone else coming who's going to give you the exact same information and forms. And you're going to have to, give additional consent. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, can we not just sign away our rights entirely? Like, can we not just be done with this and say all rights are withdrawn? We withdraw all rights. Just
save my life.
Just handle the business. Like, just take care of business, and what happens happens.
Yeah, just don't leave a scalpel in me, and we should be good to go.
And I got this, this sense of fear, and not from me, but from them. There felt like there was a sense of fear for the legality of surgery. I think it just shows how legalese and the legal, nature in America today has gotten so out of hand.
Oh, yeah. Red tape can kill you faster than most diseases.
It's like everything you do, people are like, we got to protect ourselves. We got to safeguard ourselves. And that all comes from frivolous lawsuits.
Oh, yeah. Dude, there's been a whole bunch of them. And what's even scarier is, like, they always get these huge payouts and stuff like that. People end their careers. But, like, when you're a doctor, like, you're essentially playing a guessing game. Yeah.
And you got to know, everyone knows there's a risk involved with a surgery, period. Doesn't matter how simple it is. Anesthesia alone can kill you. That is a risk that you run. And I don't think that it should be so mitigated by legal jargon that people are scared to do anything.
Oh, I mean, like, that's why I'm glad whenever I went to the hospital, like, it was almost 9 years ago, dude. I had appendicitis, right? I had junkies drive me there. They actually saved my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't have an appendix?
Nope. Completely appendix free since 2014.
So that's actually what we thought it was going to end up being, because it was very similar symptoms of appendicitis. And we thought that was going to end up being what it was. It turned out to be something else, but it was quite similar to that. I mean, so what's life been like without your appendix?
Well, about 2 pounds lighter.
Hey, getting that skinny bitch energy.
Oh yeah, seriously, like slave.
You want to drop some pounds? Just get rid of the appendix.
Oh yeah, seriously, it's superfluous. It's like ears. You don't really need both. You can make it with one.
Yeah,
which is why I had this one removed. Trying to shave a few lbs off.
Yeah, I remember growing up and tonsils getting removed was very common, right?
Oh yeah.
And growing up as a kid, everyone would say you don't need your tonsils, so it's not a big deal if they get removed. And I'm just thinking, like, if you don't need your tonsils, why are they in your body to begin with? Like, surely they serve some purpose.
They just help add to the meaty bit to the back of the neck.
Yeah.
Prevents turkey neck from an early age.
And so, like, I mean, I don't know if you know, but more recently they've come out with things that show, tonsils do aid in the immune system and certain aspects. It's not like it doesn't play a huge role, but it's better to have your tonsils than to not have them.
Yeah, I mean, like, see, that's the beautiful thing about, like, medicine. We're always learning something about 2 years too late. Like, I'm pretty sure there were some doctors back in the day, like, yeah, just put a little asbestos in it, it'll heal up.
So have you noticed any disadvantages not having an appendix?
Well, when it comes to having an appendix, I find myself lacking in that category alone.
But no issues with digestion or anything like that?
Not particularly. I mean, I can't eat a whole snake anymore, bones and all, but, it's a small...
Well, that's a true loss.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small sacrifice on my end. But
for life.
I mean, but all I have to do is cook them now. I used to be able to eat them live, just straight down, just boom, just gone.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the The crickets aren't going to be a big deal to me.
The snakes are coming later.
Go ahead and get us to 100,000. Let's go ahead and eat some snakes.
Live snakes.
We're only 50 away from crickets, people. Come on, get them subscribers in.
But yeah, anyway, the surgery ended up going smoothly, as best it could have gone. And so, you know, I would say the light bringer of the week would be the surgeon who performed the operation.
Cheers, surgeon.
Definitely brought some light.
So was he generally a surgeon or a surgeon general?
It's actually a woman.
So she was a commander surgeon.
That definitely instilled a certain degree of, you know, added fear. No misogyny. but it turned out good.
Well, I mean, I'm glad because, like, otherwise, I don't think that we'd be having this podcast right now.
That's true.
If it didn't.
Very true. So yeah, things went well, and I got to spend some time, a couple of days in the hospital with my girl, and it wasn't a bad experience.
See, like, you're a better man than I. After the surgery, I would have been like, deuces. I hate hospitals. Hate them. I mean, they're good places, but terrible things happen there all the time.
So there's something about places like hospitals. There's almost, you know, there's like an air of death. Like, walking around, you can just feel it. You can feel it in the air.
Yeah, well, nobody's playing the fucking ballet while they're, you know, dying. They're just... You just go from room to room. What's wrong with you? Lost a leg. What's wrong with you? Oh, I've got cancer. What's wrong with you? Oh, you know that thing that just came out, COVID? Got the new variant of that.
So at one point I went down to I was trying to get to the cafeteria, and the place is like a maze. And I couldn't figure out how to get the elevator to work. Like, for some reason I wasn't going down the floor to get to the cafeteria. And this guy came up and he showed me, you know, what the issue was. And as we're going down the elevator coming out, he's like, yeah, I've been here 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh, really? You know, what's going on? And he's like, well, my daughter lost both her legs. And yeah, so I've been with her for 3 weeks. And I was like, oh, well.
I will put money on the table right now, $100. The thing she wants for Christmas is her legs back.
I didn't have as much sympathy as I would have liked to. That was the first night, so I was still kind of in shock. But yeah, I was just like, oh, yeah.
Yo, that's crazy.
As I'm like mixing my coffee. Really?
You don't say. How's her hands doing though? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the legs are gone, but like, you got those little paperclip stumpy things.
Yeah. But yeah, man, paperwork. It's at one point I'm like, you know, time is of the essence. Can we get this paperwork sorted so we can just be on with it? Like, get on with the process.
Oh, just kind of keep it like whenever you log into a website, just be like, one box. Yeah, you can go ahead and have all my information. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the disclaimer agreement, you just go ahead and scroll to the bottom, hit a check, you're good to go.
Yeah, I think like the two exclusions should be like when you can sue a hospital is either A, they don't diagnose it properly and they remove a limb.
Mm-hmm. They get you mixed up with another patient.
So looks like your sex change went well. I came in for my tonsils getting removed.
Involuntary trans. Imagine.
Oh,
You'd be like the world's first, because I don't know that there's any stories of that happening.
well, yeah, because you got to be. They make you go through some legal loopholes. Like you think the life-saving paperwork is bad? The trans paperwork is just infinitely worse.
Mm.
Because,
True,
like,
but you got plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
You got plenty of time to sit and.
Are you sure? Because we're about to cut your dong down the middle of it. Like, are you 110%?
Oh yeah, that's what I came here for.
But are you? I just want to make sure because
Yeah.
you got a full beard. What are we working with you?
So, but speaking of legalese, and you were talking about, you know, people winning big lawsuits. There's, you know, you got to think everything comes with a cost, right?
Mm.
And so, like, when somebody wins a big lawsuit against a corporation, even the everyday man, your average Joe, I think they don't view that person negatively. They almost view him as a hero of sorts.
Yeah, Bill, they got one off on the big company.
Yeah, like
back in the day, do you remember the McDonald's cup lady?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you know the whole story?
I do know the whole story.
Okay, well then maybe you can elaborate for the audience. They might not know.
So she got a lot of flack for winning this huge lawsuit because it was an insane amount. But what was often, not told in the media or not told amongst ourselves was she actually did get severe damage, like severe burns.
And it was all crotchal region.
Yeah. So she actually was, what do they call it when, I forget what they call it. Something like maimed or... Disfigured, yeah. She was actually genuinely disfigured from that burn. And the coffee actually was far above what it should have been. It was like boiling temperature coffee.
Yeah, it was lava.
Yeah.
And see, what's even funnier is because during that case, she didn't even ask for that amount. The judge gave her that amount.
Yeah.
She just wanted her hospital bills covered.
Yeah.
So that way she could pay for all the reconstructive surgery and everything.
Yeah. And truly, when you lose something, like, especially in the groin area,
especially,
there's really no price that could cover it. I mean,
I figure, like, if I got my hand maimed, okay, that sucks. My foot maimed, okay, that sucks. Face and crotch, that's it. That's my hard lines right there.
Understandable. So I didn't feel like that was a crazy sum that she walked away with after I knew the full story. But the issue is people do pay for it. And here's how they pay for it. That no matter what, the everyday person pays the cost for everything. When it's all said and done, your everyday person's going to pay the cost. And so these corporations, for one, they're going to make it worse for their employees. The ease of operating that the employees used to have prior to a big lawsuit, it's gone. They're going to start making you throw a thermometer in the coffee before it goes out to the customer. They're going to start making you sign a piece of paperwork, a disclaimer form.
They're going to have to blow it 3 times, essentially, right in front of you.
Yeah. And next thing you know, you could be a great worker and lose your job over some hoopla.
Whoa. Using the H word now.
Hoopla!
Hoopla!
And so you end up in just this sea of policy and red tape as if you're employed with that company because they're trying to safeguard themselves against another lawsuit. And then ultimately the customer usually ends up losing out.
Having to foot the bill
because prices go up.
Yeah, because again, now there's extra training. Now there's extra thermometers. And now they can't be the rectal kind. They have to be the oral kind.
Yeah. And so given that our nation is continually being subjugated with frivolous lawsuits, and every now and then you get a winner, and for every winner there comes a whole new set of policies and obligations that a company imposes on its employees and its customers. You got to think, how are we going to escape it? Because the one thing about laws, they rarely ever go away. There's only more of them, not less.
Yeah, it's like prohibition. Like that was one of the very few laws that went away.
Yeah. And there's this quote, I don't know who said it, but it's a dying nation prints laws like it prints money or something to that effect. Like,
wow, that sounds Roman. That sounds that one kind of fucking slaps.
Yeah. But before you know it, there's a law for everything and a law against everything, and then lawyers are making all the money leeching off corporations and victims.
Yeah.
Because the lawyers are the real winners.
Oh, yeah. It's just kind of like divorce settlements. Trust me.
The lawyer's the third person in your marriage.
Please break up. Please cheat on her. Please, God. Please, everything I've got.
They're getting their own alimony. You got to spend 10 years with your wife for her to get alimony. You only got to spend 10 hours with your lawyer.
Oh, God. He has a Lambo? Oh, tell me more. Tell me more. You're going to get half that car, and then I'm going to get half from both of you.
That's the thing. It's like, he ain't just fighting for you. He's fighting for himself in that lawsuit.
Yeah, and there are good lawyers out there. Sorry, that hurts my tongue to say such things.
Yeah.
But, like, there are good lawyers out there, and there are good doctors out there, and there are bad policemen out there.
True.
Like, it doesn't matter your profession, but if your entire thing is making money.
Yeah. So speaking of lawyers, I've often thought you know, if I had the discipline to go to school or the belief that it would be worth it, putting that much of my youth into schooling, I always thought I would be a good defense attorney. I would love to defend people.
I would, but I know so many liars that would lie to their lawyer instead of just being honest with them.
That's true. I think I could get the truth out of my the people I represented, though, because truly, if you tell me, no matter what crime it is, I wouldn't judge you. I wouldn't judge you.
I'm not. I would love to be on that boat with you, but there are certain crimes out there, like murder.
Yeah.
Okay, for the right reason. Okay, all right, you know. But like,
I'm just a big believer in innocent until proven guilty, and even if you end up successfully defending a guilty party, it does facilitate. It empowers that mantra, innocent until proven guilty. If someone commits a crime and there truly is a path of, you know, reasonable doubt, then I think everyone should get the right to
a fair trial.
And
I mean, I get you on that, but like, there's certain, we can both agree, like tax fraud versus being a diaper sniper.
Yeah, of course, very different.
Yeah,
very different. And, you know, as a defense attorney, I don't think if you're a government appointed attorney, I'm assuming those are the sucky ones.
Yeah.
If you suck, the government just gives you your jobs.
Yeah, you know what? Take this one, and this one, and this one, and this one.
So I'm not sure if they can turn down a case, because somebody has to represent you, no matter what.
Not sovereign citizens.
True, but
guys.
Yeah. But if you have your own practice, you can pick and choose the cases. And so you obviously, if you thought someone was guilty of something heinous, you could turn it down. But I've always struggled to rationalize how someone could ever justify being a prosecutor. I could never be a prosecutor. And so you think about it, if you're a defense attorney or a prosecutor with a 30-year career, at some point, one of each of these things are going to happen. At some point, you're going to save a guilty person from prison if you're a defense attorney. If you're a prosecutor, at some point, you're going to put an innocent person in jail. And I could live with myself easily, sleep peacefully at night for the rest of my days, knowing I protected a guilty person. But I could never be okay knowing I put an innocent person in jail.
See, that's where you and I differ. I would rather put one innocent man away for 100,000 guilty men. And I'm sorry, but
you don't strike me as that type.
Well, I mean,
you're such a liberal guy.
Well, I mean, I know that's how I appear, but like deep in my heart space, I believe that there are certain people that need to be punished for their crimes. There are bad, not bad people, but people who have done bad things that need to learn from their experience.
True.
Like, if you beat a baby to death with a bar of soap, I would rather make sure you and the guy who was accused of murder on a different scale both share a cell. Like,
so you'd be okay putting an innocent person in jail if you got to get the real criminals.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because I'm from the prosecutor's state of mind.
You're not a prosecutor.
I'm just saying. But
I've never known this side of you.
No. I can empathize. I can put myself in their shoes.
Okay.
They're the yin to that yang. It is, instead of innocent until proven guilty, they are guilty as hell until you show me otherwise. And even then, probably not. I can empathize with that kind of mindset because I truly believe in the death penalty. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, I believe in the death penalty.
Yeah, and see, like, well, I mean, what happens if we get an innocent man in there? Statistically speaking, if we're at this level of, like, we have legally made it okay to murder the shit out of you, there has been some significant amount of evidence.
Yeah, and it's also often the case, you're probably doing things in your life that led you to that. Even if you weren't guilty of that exact crime, there's probably some correlation of your lifestyle choices that put you on the trial to begin with.
Yeah, you might not have murdered somebody, but you were peddling meth in an elementary school.
Yeah,
that was funded by the government. Like like, you gotta give it take.
Yeah. But I'm not a prosecutor. I'm a natural defender, a natural person of ambiguity.
And I mean, I can empathize with that side of it too, because like actually putting a fully innocent man on death row, which has happened.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. People in the audience who are watching right now, which by the way, we love you. I can see it from both sides, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I mean, I'm a natural fence sitter because, you know, I've got a post up my ass.
Vlad the Impaler paid you a visit.
Exactly. Like, I got that hawk Tuah on that post. But I can just see it from both ends.
Yeah. Speaking of hawk Tuah.
Oh.
I don't know if you've kept up with her, but she's done a pretty good job of maintaining her celebrity as it stands. Have you noticed she's been a part of a lot of stuff?
Well, I mean, I heard the last thing I heard about her is that she opened up a charity.
She opened a charity. She's like pitched at a baseball game. Just recently this week, she was in South Korea speaking at a crypto conference. I shit you not.
You have got to be triple ply toilet paper to not be shitting me on this one.
I'm not shitting you. She was in South Korea this week.
So spitting on that thing has made her a crypto legend.
Yeah. Can I tell you what I think it is, though? Okay, I think there is an overarching force that wants people to be as weak as possible. Like, they want people as undisciplined and as addicted and as mindless as they can be. And when there is an icon, the likes of Hawk Tuah, who can perfectly keep people distracted and perfectly represent that any idiot on the street can make it. Like, it keeps people in that mindset. Like, you could be thinking about how the government's fucking you over left and right and how we're printing money every day. But you could also be thinking about Hawk Tuah.
I mean, so you're thinking like a Michael Jackson psyops kind of deal.
Yeah. Well, you got to think, if you're a controlling power of a group of people, and there are celebrities who might have messages that are counterintuitive to you maintaining control.
Yeah.
What would be an ideal celebrity to give the masses?
An everyman, an underdog.
Maybe an every woman and every girl.
Oh, and every them.
A Hawk Tuah, if you will.
Ah, the old Hawk Tuah.
Give them something easy, something funny, something light.
And
let them distract their woes.
Yeah, because like the world occasionally sucks.
Yeah, and it also occasionally Hawk Tuahs.
They spit on that thing and they make it work.
Sounds like something an employer would tell you.
Oh yeah. Look, I know that we just cut your break and salary, but you know, just Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing.
Well, that'll get you a raise. If you're looking to make some more money.
That's how she got to the cryptocurrency. She Hawk Tuah'd all the way to the crypto. But no, good for her though. Good for her.
No, she's done well, I think, and played it well. And I think when you hear her speak and the way she talks, she is kind of an everyman's person.
Yeah, it's not like a Greta Thunberg situation, which, look, your message can be as great and as powerful as we need to save the environment, but if you ain't Hawk Tuah, then you're just not bringing the light.
So you're saying Hawk Tuah is bringing the light?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you've got that many people to laugh, Dave Chappelle works tirelessly to make comedy specials.
Yeah.
And he gets a very good audience. Don't get me wrong. Dave Chappelle, love you shit. But like, Hawk Tuah with just 2 syllables, propelled herself into fame.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I think the celebrities that are capable of bringing the most darkness are the ones who walk the line the closest, the ones who are the most online. And so I'll use Hawk Tuah as an example. I think ultimately that her being a celebrity is bad for society. I don't think it's good.
What? Like, one of the masses actually reaching fame through giving Hawk Tuah?
Okay, so let's say you work a 9 to 5, you're a normal average day guy, you have dreams of being successful. guy or lady, you're aspirational, and you go home after a long day of grinding on the Sigma grind set. You get on TikTok and you see a girl just say honk Tuah, spit on that thing, and a couple weeks later she's an international celebrity worth millions of dollars. Doesn't that have a demoralizing effect on your soul?
Well, I mean, maybe if you hawk to it a little bit more, then maybe you'd.
Maybe that's the future of careers. When AI takes over, there will only be one job.
Hawk Tuin? Is that the plural of Hawk Tuah? Is Tuin?
The professional.
Ah, a professional Hawk Tuah.
It'll become an Olympic sport. And it's sad, as much as I'm joking, I could honestly see the way society's headed. The porn Olympics.
Oh my God. The Harvey Weinstein brought to you by the Olympics.
Dude, tell me the porn Olympics doesn't sound like some degenerate crap that we'd kind of come up with.
Oh man, okay, about like 2 years ago, before we had the regular Olympics, right?
Yeah.
I was hearing a buzz about the drug Olympics.
Oh,
like you're allowed to take whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. But that didn't happen, did it?
No, I wish it would, because that would be the tits. That'd be amazing.
It would.
Like the Asian Bolt on fucking coke. My God, he'd be unstoppable. There wouldn't be
Asian Jolt.
You wouldn't even see him. He'd just like he'd do that SpongeBob thing. You want to see me beat everybody in the race? Want to see me do it again?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, on one half, like on a moral standpoint, I would hate to see the porn Olympics. But on the other hand, I mean,
the hedonist side.
It would be interesting to say the least.
So a segment I'm kind of wanting to bring onto the show, I think would be fun.
Oh.
The light bringer of the week, the hedonist of the week.
Oh.
So, earlier I'd commented the surgeon, saving my girl's life, the light bringer of the week. So yeah, I think it'd be a fun segment. Do you have anyone in mind for the hedonist of the week?
Ooh, that is a hard one, because hedonism is typically taking and not giving. Man, if I was going to go ahead and have to highlight a hedonist, I would have to go ahead and highlight... That is a hard one. There's just so many. Like, who encapsulates the absolute gimme, 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 gimme?
Well, of the week.
Of the week.
I've got one, if you'd like.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this is an impromptu segment. I kind of just threw at you.
Yeah, come on. Lay it on me.
So, there's a guy recently, Moist Critical did a video about.
Oh.
There's a guy who is pooping on people's porches. And have you heard about this?
No, but hedonist of the week.
So there's a guy going around pooping on porches in the late hours of the night. And he keeps getting, well, he hasn't been caught yet, but he has been caught on camera many times because people have, the Ring cameras and all of these systems. So many people have videos of this guy just going up to their home and taking a dump right on the porch. And he's not using the old school method of a bag and setting it on fire. No, he's just doing a straight, clean poop right on the porch and then going about his business.
A plop and run. So wait a minute, does that mean he has the run?
So in one instance, not only did he poop on the welcome mat, but he actually pissed on the welcome mat as well. He fully saturated it right after he pooped on it.
My God. He was butt up, having it his way.
And big media has caught this story and they're covering it. And one of the homeowners, they interviewed him, but he was anonymous. He asked to be kept anonymous. So it's, the voice recording with the dub voice and the shadow figure.
I never thought that I would have my porch pooped on.
He just didn't want him to come back for seconds.
Right. He didn't want to inspire him. Now, this guy actually did get hit twice.
Oh.
So that guy actually did get hit twice. And he's on record, on the news stating, I'm just glad he's nonviolent. I mean, obviously I want him to stop. I want to know why he's doing this, but I'm just glad he's nonviolent. And I'm just thinking, what kind of soy boy man do you have to be speaking about the guy pooping on your porch? I'm just glad he's nonviolent.
He's the Robin Poop of the world. He just he takes your dignity, but he leaves everything else.
At least he didn't come and kill my family.
I mean, he could have pooped on the cat, but he moved 2 inches to the left. So grand scale of things.
Yeah, so the serial pooper, I'd call him the hedonist of the week. He's having a good time. The week. And that's a fun character, I would say.
I mean, an absolute degenerate to be sure, but my God.
Add a little element of surprise to your life.
Yeah, just step in shit. This is what it is.
I'll tell you, there's been points in my life where I was bored enough that somebody just randomly pooping on my porch would have actually brought me a little joy.
Because now you have a mystery.
Something to live for.
I couldn't imagine being the cop sitting there like, what do we got? Sir, Sergeant, it appears to be the serial pooper. It's the 4th house this week. My God. What's the consistency? Soft serve? Pure runs.
Another thing that's funny about this guy, anytime he's been caught on camera, he's been wearing the exact same outfit, the exact same clothes. So people are wondering if he just doesn't change his clothes or if he's actually committing to the character.
That reminds me of back in the day, you remember the news camera lady? She would come up to people and they do interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
That one guy.
Yeah.
Oh God,
he got him like 3 or 4 times.
It was just too good to be.
You gotta love the reporter right after he blurts it out. And then it cuts.
They're always.
They're just floored.
Like, I can't believe that you'd say that on live TV.
Yeah. But no, I do think random acts, sometimes they give a bit of purpose to people's lives. Like, imagine you're the guy, who, you have no purpose, you're directionless, and you pray to God the night before. You're like, God, I'm looking to have meaning in my life. I'm looking for a direction. Please give me a sign. And then that morning you go out on your doorstep, and there's just a big fat turd right on your welcome mat, and you're like, thank you.
Even worse, it's like a Batman situation. Like, damn you, serial pooper! I will find you! With every fiber of my being, I will search the 4 corners of the earth. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
So, I think this guy might actually be a light bringer.
I mean, for everybody else, it just, Jesus Christ.
Better than a serial killer, that's for sure.
God, could you imagine we have like a purge poop day, because of this guy?
Yeah. And they haven't caught him yet. That's even though his face, and it's, cameras are getting better and better.
Yeah.
He's easily made out in this footage, and they still haven't caught him.
No,
he's bare facing it.
Okay, so there's not even
and they still haven't caught him. This guy must be off the grid. He must be like, burnt his fingerprints, no social media. He's fully off the grid.
Could you imagine his backstory? So why do you poop on porches? Well, it all started with my father. He was an angry man. And one day, I got him back. I shit in his car.
So, shout out to the porch pooper, hedonist of the week.
Hedonist of the week.
And maybe even a light bringer. A crossover.
50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, 50-50.
A lot of dark to be bringing the light, admittedly.
Oh, yeah.
Too much brown.
Maybe a little green in there, too.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Subject switch. back to an older topic, but I got to bring it up because it's on my mind.
Come on.
Speaking of legalese and companies and et cetera,
and porch pooping,
hawk tuing, porch pooping, legal suiting. I want to talk about HR departments, human resources, ladies and gentlemen.
The rules of the entire world that everybody should already know.
So, before I comment on, let's just say what I think HR is or if it's good or bad, for the people at home, I want to let you know, I've been in a corporation big enough to have an HR department. I've been a higher up in a business without an HR department, but, we've contemplated getting one or not or remaining without. And a lot of people will go, HR is really not there for the employees. It's there just to safeguard the business from getting sued. And I think more often than not, that's the case.
Yeah, because now you have legitimate paperwork. We told you not to do this.
But when it comes to HR, I can tell you this. Coming from a relatively, big company that didn't have one, when the prospect of an HR department was presented, when it gets into the air that maybe an HR department is starting, that maybe a position will be available, let me tell you, every other employee wants to be considered to head up the HR department. Everybody wants a shot at being HR. Do you know why that is? Do you know why people want to be HR? Do you think it's because they care about people?
No, not even close.
Do you think it's because they think they're going to make rational and fair decisions?
No, I believe it's a self-righteous thing. Like, oh, well, I can tell people not to go ahead and sexually harass other people. Like, that's a no-brainer.
90% of people who want to be the HR department head are women. And I'm telling you, they want to be the first one in on the gossip. That is what it is. They're like, this is the position to get the juiciest gossip.
Are you telling me that Keith actually came over and hit on you? What did he say? Let me put my thumb up your butthole. Oh, well.
If you're a gossip fiend, an HR position is like crack cocaine. If you're the type of person who watches Keeping Up with the Kardashians 6 hours a day, HR has your name on it.
Oh, God, I can only imagine the things that you would hear.
But yeah, they're like, oh, can I be HR? I care about the people.
Do you now?
No, that bitch over in accounting, Sheila, that you don't like, you want to know her dirt. That's why you want to be HR. Don't play with me.
Oh, Sheila came into work drunk. That's crazy. Well, you know what? I need to probably talk to her about that.
And then you get the added benefit of talking down, right? You get the gossip, and then you get to come in on your high horse. You're getting all your vices.
It's just mainlining that gossip. I mean, you're not wrong on that because, like, I've thought about that for years. Like, I thought I could be a great HR person because I've been that other person.
Right. I actually think you would be a pretty decent HR guy.
Yeah, because I'd get both sides of the story. Like, are you just blowing this up to blow this up, or or is there some shit that's going on? Because I don't give a if there's shit going on, boots and assholes are getting met.
Well, I don't personally find you to be a drama addict.
Oh no,
but I think 90% of people who want to be HR are drama addicts.
Yeah, because again, it's just like fucking tying up that shit, just fucking.
And you don't even have to have any of the responsibility, like of a manager or of an owner who might be liable. HR, it's just like shits and giggles. You get to just
arbitrarily enforce rules because, like, when you're hot, HR doesn't exist. If you're ugly, like if you come in and you're, and you walk up to a female employee, you're like, hey, and they're like, oh, that's so nice. If you look like me, it's like, oh, you're going to wear my skin if I don't say something to somebody.
It's so unfair the way that looks can dictate whether something is sexually inappropriate or not. It's so unfair.
Oh my God. Remember that one inmate? He got put in jail. I can't remember what it was for. I think it was like beating a woman to death or something.
The one who became a model?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Dude, he got a modeling career off a mugshot.
Yeah.
That is getting hit by lightning while riding a unicorn, fisting a black leprechaun. It's just incredibly unlikely.
Very unlikely, but very fortunate for him.
For him, all the other inmates in there just sitting like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. Man, looks. Why are looks so damn important? I really wish they weren't, honestly.
Well, I mean, it's the first sense. It's I can see.
Yeah. You know, some people theorize that there's no one's actually ugly that didn't choose to be so. Some people believe that faces are an actual correspondent to the mental. And so, like, if you have an ugly face or an ugly body, you're simply mentally ugly.
See, I'd believe that, but, you know, Steve Jobs was kind of built like an old man ever since he was young.
Yeah.
But, like, people loved him.
That's true. Dude, one of the coolest photos I've ever seen to this day is Steve Jobs when he was near, you know, the last months or weeks of his life. There's this video taken of him standing out by a car, and he's deathly skinny, you know, almost like a skeleton, and he's wearing this black attire, and he looks like a fucking warlock. I mean, he might be on his deathbed, but he looks badass as hell. Like, this is a necromancer, a level 99 necromancer you're fucking with right now.
Dude, don't go back and look at the pictures of David Bowie before he passed. You'll believe that he's actually in a crypt somewhere raising the dead.
Yeah. Maybe he is. Maybe Jobs is too.
I mean, he's the one doing the Frankenstein, and the other one's doing the, like, singing them up and shit.
Yeah. He's still in the phone. He's living through.
I would actually believe that. Steve Jobs is probably an AI somewhere.
Remember when the 4S came out? It was called For Steve. Apple was like the 4S, For Steve.
The sports edition Steve.
But truly, since he's passed, the innovation at Apple, down.
Yeah, that's why Samsung's gotten so popular.
Like, they still make a good product, but they don't do anything risky anymore. It's like, here's the same product for the 30th time.
Yes, but we've removed things now. We've removed the headphone jack. Why would you even need that? Now you can buy earbuds for $99. We're giving you a deal.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Apple is delving into, you know, some of the philosophical aspects of minimalism. You want to make a man happy, you take away his options.
No. No, I've never once walked into a restaurant and been like, there's only one thing on the menu.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mid.
Well, you know the old quote, you give a man 99 choices, you give him a problem. You give a man one choice, you give him happiness. You give a man no headphone jack, and then he's happy for eternity.
If you're having phone problems, I feel bad for your son. I got 99 problems and a headphone ain't one.
If Apple had made that ad, that shit would have hit. I would have respected their decision if that had been their play.
At least if at a marketing standpoint, that slaps.
Yeah. Instead, they were just like, here's an iPhone with a black and white background and a little jingle.
Well, shut up and take my money. $900 for a phone that doesn't work with the shit I already have? Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And like the charging port's changing every year too. That's just, at a certain point, it's just going to be a brick with a rope tied to it with a notepad. Speaking
of big companies like Apple and HR, dude, there's got to be a point, you know, when you're HR at a really big company like Apple, where you start getting involved in the blood sacrifices. Like it went from like gossip to, hey, you know, Steve just sacrificed some kids over on Epstein Island this weekend, and John found out about it in accounting.
And he's not part of the crew. You know, he hasn't even tried his first xenochrome yet. Like he's making some waves.
Yeah. So like you're gonna have to get him in. You can, you know, offer him a little xenochrome, but if he doesn't take it, you're gonna go ahead and have to terminate.
Yeah, and I mean not fire him, terminate.
Yeah, you press the buzzer. You call in Mr. Schwartz, and he's going to handle it from there.
Oh my God, I can only imagine the HR department is just like 4 big high chairs and a fucking like a Mr. Burns
It's
level.
like that show, The Voice. You don't even get to talk to them. You have to plead your case before they even tell you what's going on.
There's just a big dude behind you putting his hand on you. That's when you know it's up. It's just, oh no.
Not me. It never should have come to this.
Look, you're the one that went ahead and got on, X and decided to go ahead and start spouting nonsense.
Yeah. So, bye-bye.
Look, you've been voted off the island. God. Remember back in the day when people thought Survivor was real?
Dude, some people still do.
I mean, some people believe wrestling is still real. I mean, some of it is, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like getting thrown off the top of a cage into a table.
So, fair. I actually do like reality TV, even though I think it's a vice and I shouldn't like it. I enjoy reality TV, like contests and competitions and things like that. Not like the drama so much, reality, but then there's a lot of shows are a mix now. Like
Ninja Warrior, something like that.
Those I like better, but most shows are a mix of drama and competition now. So like they found a way to get the best of both worlds, but or the worst. But I do like those shows. But I'll tell you, having worked a little bit more with the way videos are made and seeing the programs and the thought process in behind it, it is a manipulation. 99% of reality TV is a massive manipulation.
Yeah, and like what's even weirder is the stuff that does make it versus the stuff that doesn't make it. Because like My 1,000-Pound Sisters, in all reality, should have never once been as popular as it was.
Yeah,
it was. Oh, speaking of which, one of them got arrested here in this state.
The 900-pound sisters?
One of them, yeah.
What did she get arrested for?
Child endangerment, drugs, and being at the zoo doing both.
You'd think with a drug habit at 900 pounds, you'd lose some weight.
You'd figure, right? But believe it or not, it was the skinnier one.
What drugs do you know?
Off the top of my don't get me lying, but like if I'm assuming, it's probably not something prescribed.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, just like, could you imagine just like trying to take your kid to the zoo and you just see somebody ripping a fat lion off their car? Just like,
wait, she was arrested at the zoo?
At the zoo.
She might have been there to eat one of the animals.
Oh, dude, I figured it was more of like a Harambe situation and we were about to hit another pivotal point in this country.
Yeah. Nothing that since Hawk Tuah, Harambe was like the biggest thing since Hawk Tuah.
Oh, dude. And it still is. Like, that's the pivotal moment in most people's lives where where everything changed. Like, we had 9/11 growing up. Well, hell, we had Y2K. We've went through, like, several apocalypses.
Plus, Harambe was the original Rest in Peace meme character. Like, the Rest in Peace, and it's got the celebrities, and Harambe was the first.
Ooh, that brother gone.
All your favorite celebrities that have passed, they're partying right now with Harambe. He's a bomb-ass party machine.
I mean, I would pray to God that I could see Robin Williams and Harambe when I get to heaven. Or whatever's out there after.
That wouldn't be such a bad outcome. For all potentials, that'd be a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, I believe that eventually after we pass, we all just become the great spirit beyond.
Yeah.
I've got nothing that proves it. But it's just that
the great Harambe.
The Harambe in the sky.
Yeah. Truly life wasn't about the struggle. It was about the Harambe we met along the way.
You know what it's all about? Harambe.
That's sounded like Batman over there.
Robin, grab Harambe. We're out of this cage.
They should make a movie about Harambe.
Oh my God. Don't give Hollywood ideas. They're going to have an AI generated Michael Jackson dangling the kid above the pit.
Next Mr. Beast video. I genetically engineered a clone of Harambe and put him in a cage with 10 homeless men with $10 million.
On the line. Who's going to be the one that wins? We're going to double hell for this episode.
Double hell?
Oh, yeah, that's right underneath with people that say, morning pick me up.
Yeah. That belongs in the 9th level. Have you ever delved into the levels of hell? You have?
Yeah, I've read Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, I don't know them specifically, but I do know one thing that stood out anytime I've ever researched it or studied it. When you look at the 9 levels of hell, some of them are objectively better than others and at lower levels. So like you're like at the 8th level of hell, but you're like, shit, I'd rather be at the 8th than the 2nd.
Yeah, like the first one is lust, and like I love to get me on some
lust.
Yeah, I do.
You like some lust.
Yeah, hedonism. If that right there, that's number one.
Yeah.
However, doing it every day, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I don't know if you've ever had a hickey on it, but like that thing, that kind of ruins the fun.
Yeah. But the hell isn't having sex. I don't think that's one of the levels.
Yes, it is.
Oh, really?
First ring.
Oh, well, that's a good level then.
Forever.
Yeah.
The same thing. Forever.
You got to think, though, that's one of the things about hell. And even heaven, though I have a somewhat different idea of heaven than the idyllic sense of, like, Christians of the past.
Yeah.
But anything forever, to me, is a degree of hell. I mean...
Yeah, because there's no change. There's no...
Yeah, we've got a finite amount of time on Earth, and it only takes me at most a year of anything before it starts to get
boring.
Somewhat boring. You have to have the change.
Yeah, and that's why, as people, we can't be content with like the stuff that we had back in the day. Like back in the day, you were a farmer or you did something to get food. And that was it. You fed you and yours. That was it.
Heaven is variety and hell is consistency.
Ooh.
That's why entrepreneurs always have a chip on their shoulder.
See, I always thought that hell was other people.
You don't want to be alone for eternity.
Not eternity, but there is something to be said about being continuously stuck forever in a party of people.
Yeah, that would suck.
I mean... some people can do it, but like I'm not gonna lie, after a night of partying I need like a week to recharge.
Really?
Yeah.
A hedonist?
Yeah. And I mean like it's well, as I've gotten older there, AK, I've found that I need a little more time to recharge. I need to have a poop, a cigarette, and fucking not be around people that are like, what? Yeah, this party's great. This is incredible, right?
Trying to have a good conversation at a party is fucking impossible.
Oh God, when the music's way too fucking loud.
Yeah.
Like if you've got your niche friends in there, it's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just going to a rando party, crashing it, and you're by yourself, and now you gotta do that little mamba up to other people and like start up a conversation from scratch, trash it. I'll go get me 10 pounds of McDonald's and we'll call it a night.
Dude, speaking of the overly serious entrepreneur, it always kills me how so serious these people are.
You just ask yourself sometimes, why so serious?
It's like, yeah, I make a fuck ton of money and I'm pissed all the time.
Oh God! So you're talking about the Andrew Tates of the world?
I think he's humorous. He's playful. He's angry hyperbolically a lot, but he is, I think, a playful entrepreneur. There are some people who don't have but one mode, like one personality, one way of talking, and it's so boring. It's so boring.
And see, like I feel where you're coming from, but like, could you give me an example?
Alex Hormozy would be one. I do like his stuff all right, but he's an example. I couldn't give you a lot of others because they're all in the middle celebrity status. Andy Elliott, he's one. You might not know these guys, but they're just hyper fixated on being serious.
Well, and see, like that's why I kind of like people like Jordan Peterson. Like
Mhm.
he's at least able to have a little bit of play. Like he gives himself the ability to be playful, but
Yeah.
also a little serious.
And I'll tell you something. Speaking from experience, as a master in the art of light bringing, anyone who's a master can tell you this truth. And it's, if you've truly mastered a craft, you will always implement an element of playfulness into your craft, into your art form. The true master is playful. It's the people still reaching, still striving to hit the peak that are too specific, that are too conscientious,
too serious about it.
All the masters are playful.
Yeah, I mean, even Albert Einstein was playful as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and Mozart at his time was considered too off the wall. Like
he made most of his stuff was about like boobs and butts. Like,
and he was a master.
He was incredible. Like the French Kingdom, like they loved him just because he was that playful.
Exactly. So I really think a true master of any craft, you have to have an element of playfulness. If you can't play with something, you're not a master of it.
Yeah, it's like Mary Poppins said, within every single job that's done is a little ounce of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And like that brings me to a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you believe that generals have fun?
Like of war?
Yes. Like we're talking Genghis Khan, we're talking Napoleon.
I would say absolutely.
Could you just imagine? If you can outrun the trebuchet, then you get to live. I'll give you 2-second head start. 1. I got him. I mean, it's just it's a weird thought. I'm not gonna lie, it's a weird thought.
So that's one reason that made me think of something. Narratives are more important than people can imagine. And so the general story I'll piggyback off of, but you can see it today with a lot of modern stories just without the bloodshed. You'll hear stories about generals who, killed tens of thousands of men, but they'll end up sparing the named individual of a city.
Yeah.
So maybe Aristotle was in the city that you raided, and you allow him to live. But he's just a man, same as the citizens as the rest of the men who got killed.
Yeah.
Why did he get to live? Or you see even a counter general might surrender and his life gets spared. But meanwhile, all of his men are just decapitated out in the field. But the general gets spared, and then they have a drink, and he's exiled. But he keeps his life.
Man, that's that name branding right there.
There's something about having a big narrative that makes your life harder to end. The consciousness of a person, like Genghis Khan, even he was a brute, but if you know all of his story, all of his raiding and conquering, there were instances where he spared the enemy. He legitimately spared the enemy.
Yeah.
There were even times where he wouldn't spare his own soldiers for incompetence, but he spared an enemy who was a big name.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was actually a priest that he met, and he spared him, even though he was trying to spread the word of, Jesus Christ. He was trying to spread Catholicism. Yeah. He was like, really? Okay, all right. This guy.
And so I really think one of the best things people can do to safeguard themselves is to make themselves into a story or put their name out there. I think in the modern world, when you look at social media, people with big narratives it's extremely hard to actually cancel somebody with a massive narrative. If you're a nobody, it's very easy to be done away with.
I feel like it's a double-edged sword to put yourself out there because you can be canceled.
Yeah,
it's not impossible, but you can come back from it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, O.J. Simpson, for the longest time, everybody knew that he committed the crime. He even wrote a book about how he committed the crime.
Yeah. And even though he was never officially at his former glory, he did maintain his celebrity.
Yeah, he actually got arrested once because he sold all of his football stuff, right?
Yeah.
Nobody ever talks about that.
Right.
He didn't get canceled for that.
And so, yeah, I think one of the best things you can do is become known. When Putin comes over to conquer the states, he's going to be looking for those names. You know, Kanye West.
Got to spare him. I mean, he says those good things, those very Semitic things.
Donald Trump.
I don't know about that.
Gotta
that
keep
one.
the Brody.
Could you imagine? It's just like he invades the White House, him and Trump just sitting there like, what's up, bro? Fuck it.
Yeah.
You got us. You got us good this time.
Yeah. But you got to build the name. There's this one story about a man who's mastered like the art of swordsmanship. He's a master swordsman, and his tale is told all across the world. A competing swordsman, a growing person, you know, in notoriety, has come to challenge him to battle. And he comes up to the master swordsman while he's sitting, meditating, drinking tea. He shows up with his horses and his men, and he goes, I've come to challenge you to a duel to prove that I'm a superior swordsman. The master swordsman sits up without saying a word. He walks up to the challenging swordsman and puts his hand on his chest. And then he calmly turns around, walks back, and sits down and proceeds to continue drinking his tea. And the guy goes, you know, what have you done? Or what is this? He said, why did you do this? And the guy responds, I've bested you in combat. And he's like, explain. And he goes, all I had to do was walk up and touch you and sit back down. I could have killed you. I could have ended your life on contact. I could have had a, you know, he doesn't, in the story, it's not this specific, but I could have had a weapon. I could have walked up and simply ended your life.
And you would have let me.
And you would have let me. That's why I'm the master swordsman, or something of that effect. And the moral of the story is his name alone would have allowed him to end this man's life.
He would have ended his whole career.
Exactly. And so there really is power
behind names.
Behind names.
I mean, I feel you on that, because like if like I'm pretty sure the second that, you know, Clyde out of Bonnie and Clyde, like the second that they said their names out loud, everybody already hit the floor.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, after you reach a certain level of notoriety, either be famous or infamy, like, I'm sorry, but if I'm in a jail cell with John Smith, whatever. But if I'm in a jail cell with Jeffrey fucking Dahmer,
with the fur man,
no, man. If
with the Lightbringer,
man, there's gonna be some stories, because people are gonna want to know what the hell went down.
He brought me to the light.
He put some fur on me. Put some hair on my chest.
That's why we have to build the ethos. That's actually where I'm from. I was born in the ethos.
I was born in Florida, which is just the same. Ohio can suck it.
Yeah, Ohio, they've had their 5 minutes of fame. Time to bring it back to the real king.
I'm just saying.
The double champ.
Look, if we went to war and we put nothing but Florida men on the front line, Russia would never even think to invade. They'd be like, they're throwing gators and doing bath salts. No way we're going over there.
Yeah.
They'd rather come through Alaska than come through Florida. That should tell you everything.
That's true. Well, they're close to Alaska, for starters. So, what ending note should we give our viewers? One topic, a final topic. You got anything?
Let's see. I would say, no matter what, you don't know what your effect on this world will be after you leave it. So you might as well make it impactful. I don't think Anne Frank knew what her journal would do to people when she was writing it. I don't think that people who made it possible for penicillin to be made into the STD curing drug, they didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
So take comfort that even if you aren't doing anything that you think is impactful with your life now, just know that it is impacting somebody somewhere.
That's a good one. Yeah, I think the sub or the underlying topic there is expression in any form is of value to the world.
Yeah.
And it's true. So many people forego doing the things that they might feel even on a whim. Like maybe they have passions and they don't do them, but even like a whimsical feeling. Maybe this evening I'll write a short story.
Maybe I'll paint with using my butt cheeks.
But people, they're subjugated to all this comparison,
Yeah, self-doubt.
Yeah. And that's so limiting.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of it as like a sort of human editing on a certain level. Like if you're just gonna be who you are, be who you are. You might not be Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But you are you, and nobody else can be you.
So I like that you said human editing, because here's something I've thought about. You know how there are certain numbers which people say are like laws to an effect. Yeah. Like there's this one rule about a workplace where 20% of people make up 80% of the work.
Yeah.
Or tends to be the case. And in nature, there's this stat about like the top 10% of a species gets 90% of the mates or 90% of the food.
Yeah.
And things like that. I wonder as humans, since we're such an abstract and expressive species, that what's happening to people, and the reason why so many people self-edit, is they're simply subconsciously falling into that number. They're falling into the reductionist number.
It's quite possible. It's almost like a human algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I do this, 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 and this, then my life will be here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a known quantity.
Yeah.
But why risk this when it could be this or end up like down here?
Yeah. I think that's why we idolize people who speak their mind so unfiltered, like Donald Trump or Kanye.
Yeah, just fervently. Just they don't care that they might get canceled for saying the wrong thing because they're just being who they are.
Yeah, they escaped the self-editing.
The Matrix, if you will.
Mm-hmm. So express.
Express, even if it's the wrong thing. Express yourself.
Express yourself.
Express yourself.
Ooh.
Skirt. Bossin in the kitchen. Bossin.
I'm gonna take a couple of these.
See,
I need rent money.
We like to express ourselves by making it rain money. Maybe, modern expressionists, if you will. A true art form.
We're the Andy Warhols of the audio station.
Yep. Andy Warhol painted soup cans, and we make it rain so you can hear money falling from the sky.
ASMR for a change.
But yeah, I think that's all I got.
Well, one last note to the audience. Remember, stay positive, test negative.
And always be in the light. See you guys.